What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Lakeith Fowler, right here in the place to be with another episode of House Money. Today, we're talking about the power of assets and liabilities. You can't have a good without a bad. So welcome to another episode of House Money. Today, I'm talking about assets and liabilities. What is an asset? The meaning of an asset, asset management. What is a liability? The meaning of a liability, what to look out for, because it's a broad word. It's a lot that goes with this, and I think you all should know. Just giving my perspective and my interpretation of the situation. So sit back, relax. Assets, liabilities with me, Lakeith Fowler, on House Money. So just to get right into it, what is an asset? An asset is a useful person, thing, or quality. I got a list, and I actually had other things written down here, and it was the exact same things. But I wanted to start out with yourself. You yourself are your biggest asset, but a lot of people don't think that or think of themselves as an entity, as an asset, as something that actually makes everything in your life happen. If you don't do it, who is? And a liability is a non-useful person, thing, or quality, especially a debt or financial obligation. We all have them. We all have traits about ourselves that we like, that we don't like, that we want to get rid of. We want to learn and unlearn, relearn and unlearn to be a better individual. And I think you as a person looking at yourself as an asset is big. So I really want to start here, and I really want to do a whole piece on this, only because I don't know if people really realize how much power that they have. Like, you want something and you want to live a certain life and you want to be a certain individual and you want certain things to happen the way you want them to, but who better to give it to you than yourself? So ask yourself, what are you doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I give you some examples of what I do to tell myself, okay, Lakeith, you can't have certain things. I'm in a brand new studio right now from my last YouTubes or whatever. And I got the money to afford this TV that I want in here, but I chose not to buy it until I close this next deal, which should be closing in a week or 2 or 3, something like that. But it's more or less, I keep myself working. I keep myself in a certain mindset, and you got to keep yourself in a certain mindset to be the best asset to yourself. And how do you do that? That's what we're talking about today. How do you keep yourself in the best mindset to be the best asset, not a liability to yourself? Let's start there. That's where we at. How do I do that? So obviously you got to spend time with yourself to know what you want. Because don't nobody or can't nobody tell you better than you on what you want. So I want a lot of money. Well, how much is a lot of? So you start to write these things down. Well, I want to retire with whatever your number is. Whatever, I want you to see that. Whatever your number is. And then you really start oh, I got something better. Hold on, I'm gonna stay with this. You figure it out. You write it out on a tablet. Then you go through the progressions and you say to yourself, well, how can I get here if I'm here? And how can I get there if I'm here? And after a while, you find out, well, if I really want what I say I want, yourself, what you say you want, a useful person or a thing or quality, what you say you are, an asset to yourself, because you want these assets, right? You hear this person, Kiyosaki and all them, hey, I'm living off assets, Cardone and whoever else you might be listening to in the real estate space speak about assets, and just people in general having assets and living off these assets. Well, how do I get to that point? The first asset that you have to think about that before you get to owning and running and managing this and doing that is yourself. So what do you do for yourself? What do you pour into yourself? What do you give yourself on a daily basis? Do you tell yourself affirmations? Self, I love you, self. I just want to tell you, I love you. You know what I mean? Like, this is real. This is very real. Like, it sounds like, oh, he's playing around, he's joking, he's kidding, but you got to think about it. Well, if I don't think highly of myself, who does? Who does? So you got to be your best asset, not a liability to yourself. You got to really tell yourself, self, I'm the best in the world. You really are. You the best you in the world. Can't nobody be you better than you. So start off with the mindset. Get your mind right. You hear all these songs and saying all these things, but really, do you practice what you preach? Because you got to ask yourself, who does it start with? You really got to get to know yourself. What do I want? Think about this. The table that you sit on. Where did it start at? It didn't start as a table. It started as an idea, as a picture. And saying, okay, well, let me take this and let me try to create this. And then they built it into something and it came out to a final product. So it started off as an idea, as a fantasy, as a dream. I want this. But then you work at it and work at it and work at it. You work at it. You work at it. You either do it or you don't. You either with it or you ain't. You either want it or you don't. Which one is it? Yourself. Because can't nobody else do it for you. Because if you're dependent on somebody else, well, we all know how that go. I ain't got to tell you that. So you got to be for real. You got to figure out what you want. And then once you start there, then you start building up and going to the next level. Because I can tell you right now, anything you think of could be an asset, but it could also be a liability. So you can fill these numbers up with whatever you want. Clothes, jewelry, your spouse, male or female, however you get down. It is what it is, but you already know. It's starting to end with you. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you feel like you only here, then that's where you are. And you probably, and here if that's the top, then you might fall short of that. You gotta go big. You gotta do it. You got to be your best friend. You got to give yourself affirmations, because if you're looking for somebody else to give you affirmations, you're giving a lot of power to somebody that you don't know, and you don't know how their life is going. So they may not feel like telling you you look nice. They might, that's okay. Okay, you sure right. You know what I mean? Keith and James out of sight. Lakeith, dynamite. You know what I'm saying? Assets and liabilities tonight. Let's get it, man. Estoy Lakeith. Yo compra casas y la tierra también. Llámame. Dios me lo bendiga. Assets and liabilities. A useful person, thing, or quality. So a quality, let's talk about that. A skill set, a characteristic trait. For me, I always wanted to be rich. But I didn't know what rich was. I just saw what I thought was rich on TV. Fresh Prince looked rich. Arnold Willis and Mr. Drummond looked rich. Like, they look cool. They look like they had some cool things going on or whatever. So I wanted to mimic that, but I didn't want to be an attorney, and I didn't know what Drummond did, but he looked like he was probably a businessman or something like that. But at the end of the day, I adapted a mindset that got me to a point to where I started to attach qualities, skill sets that helped me become more of what I, yourself, wanted to be. I started there, man, and it's like, to really understand yourself is like, it's like a real gift. It's like a gift from God. So I tell you a story. My grandmother used to live with me when I was about 11, 12 years old. It was my room, her room, the bathroom. So obviously I would see her often because I go to the bathroom. And I stopped by the room one day, and I used to always see her reading a book. It was the Bible. And I asked her, I said, Granny, why you read that every day? And she said, well, I read it because it tells me something different every time I look at it. And she asked me, do you know how to read? And I said, yeah. I said, I know how to read. She's like, do you want to read it? I was like, okay, sure, whatever, I'll read it. But I don't know where to start. So she said, just open it up and read. So I opened it up and I read. And the first thing I read was about it was in Matthew in the New Testament, about the parables and the talents. The talents. He gave us a talent. All of us, not just me, everybody. Talents. One person, I think it was 10. This is not Bible school, so, I'm not here to preach and, try to get you to see things a certain type of way. I'm just telling you about my experiences and what happened to me in my life and how it shaped and molded me. But I took on a mindset. But let me finish the story. I think it was 5 talents. Then he had one guy and he gave him 3 talents. Then he had another guy and he gave him 1 talent. So he came back, the guy that he gave 5 talents, the guy was like, hey, I got, what you got? I got 5 more talents. He's like, wow, good job. So he gave him more talents. The other guy, he had 3 talents. He got 3 more. He gave him more talents. Then the other guy with the 1 talent, he gave it back the same way it was given to him. He non-used the quality. He was a liability to himself. He did not use what was in him to go to the next level. So I don't know how you can get you to where you want to be if you don't get your mind right. I don't know. I hadn't figured that out. But anyway, the guy with the 1 talent, like, come on, man, I didn't give you this to give it back to me the same way I gave it to you. I gave it to you to multiply, to be bigger, to be better, to get higher, to do more, with more, to gain more. And you got to do that by attaching certain qualities. Like we're programmed to believe certain things, and therefore we don't reach for certain things. But y'all can do anything. Cause I'm not like, nothing was given to me. I just kind of went on my way because I really wanted it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really wanted to be the fucking best, straight up. Like, ain't no joke about none of this and how I'm gonna get there if I don't do the work. If I'm not gonna do it, I can't tell you do it for me, and you can't either. I can't tell my mama, I can't tell my daddy, I can't tell nobody. So if I want it, guess what? I got to be with it. Just like you got to be with it. Every day, consistently. Figure out what your schedule is, what you want to be, and how you want to be it. Just like you wanted to, whoever wanted to be a chair, wanted to create a chair, they thought about that, sketched it out, figured it out, and then created that, and then made that. That's what we sitting on. It didn't just happen. Somebody made it happen. Somebody made it happen. Had a quality, saw a vision. We all got them, but you got to be the person to pursue them. You got to be the person to give you what you want, and you your biggest asset, but you also your biggest liability. And I'm going to break this down into more parts and go a little bit deeper with this. So this is the first. This is a part one to this. Because also, like I told you about the picture of the chair and the table, picture this. Picture me rolling in a 500 Benz. Think about it. You can think about that. I guarantee you, you're going to do what it takes to figure out how you can get it if you really want it. If you really want it, oh yeah, you're going to figure it out. May not be illicit, may not be legal, but hey, you know what I mean? I'm not telling you to do anything you don't need to, but just think about it. But you got to think that way. You got to think straight. You got to fly straight. So let me not even waver from where I'm trying to go, because I don't advocate something that you should not do. I'm only telling you what you should do, and that's invest in yourself. Get your mind right. Because think about it. Because if yours ain't right, and you the captain of your ship, how you gonna get you to where you need to be if you not focused? So stay focused, stay awesome. Hey man, Lakeith buys houses and land. Thank you for watching this episode of House Money. Managing your assets is very good and very cool. But I honestly believe that the biggest asset that you have is yourself. Long story short, I don't think any of us would be in the position that any of us are in if we didn't put ourselves in the positions we put ourselves in. You know, some things happen, some things are the way they are, but if you want certain things, I'm not gonna sit here and say, I think you can do anything. I believe that. I believe if you want something bad enough, you will succeed. So those are my words to you. Lakeith buys houses and land. This is just one of many episodes of where I'm going to talk about assets and liabilities and how things work, or how things work in my mind, so you really understand, you know, where I'm coming from. And maybe if you're coming from the same place, maybe if you want to hear something or need to hear something, or maybe somebody hasn't told it to you this certain type of way, like maybe I'm that individual, you know what I mean? I don't know, but if it is, and if it resonates with you, I'm here to tell you, you got to be your best friend. You got to tell yourself you can. You gotta. What I was in the grocery store, say I want Brandy. I want to be down. Yeah, you gotta want to be down with you, for real, cause you all you really got, and everything else is just extensions of you, but they feed off of you. So if you're not right, you can't. You know what I'm saying? You got to be right to be right. So stay tight, man. Lakeith Fowler. Lakeith buys houses and land. Click the link below and let's go, man. Thank you for watching House Money. Dios me lo bendiga. Gracias, Dios, para este día. Gracias por despertarme hasta la mañana. Gracias por todas las bendiciones que te me has regalados. Por favor, bendice a nuestras familias y a nuestros amigos. Dios me lo bendiga.